TTB. Read it podcast.
Roy Clark,
Tony Joe White,
Charles Aznavour,
Vic Damon, no, Damone,
Dave Holland of Judas Priest,
Hugh Maskella,
John Perry Barlow,
Alan Longmuir, the Bay City Rollers.
Vinnie Paul,
Seriously. XXX Tentacion.
Chris Sangaridis,
Exactly. Jim Rodford, the Zombies.
who have just been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so congratulations to them, and sad for Jim, who's not going to be around. Big T,
DJ Fontana.
Dolores O'Riordan,
Avicii.
Pete Shelley,
Chaz Hodges.
Aretha Franklin. Yes, it's another cheery episode of Pin Scott as we look back on all the people that have died in the last year. Actually, I believe more people have died than just those people, but some of the...
They're like the music people.
Some of the music people that have left our shores.
We should have that sad piano music playing underneath the Oscars.
We should, yeah. But usually have someone playing a cello or something, just being... worthy.
Next time.
Anyway... It's the end of the year, time for our usual kind of quick run through of what we liked, what we didn't like. Not in order particularly, so...
Good. I've got notes. This is great. I haven't looked ahead, by the way. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, because I've consulted widely.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you get my list? That's the main thing. Did you get my list?
Oh, yeah, get your list, definitely. You got your list.
Great.
So, anyway, as you know, it's the time of the year when we have our little awards thing, and also we discuss the albums of the year and what we thought of the year in general. So I think that's the place to start. Your view of the musical year in general, because we've been a bit lax this year. I think we've still managed to get through over 50 albums, which is pretty good,
pretty impressive,
pretty good. But been slightly less focused than we might usually be for various actual life reasons more than musical reasons.
It feels like there's been a lot of life reasons this year. Yeah. But those aside, of the 50 plus we've reviewed, I would say that overall my sense of the year is it wasn't one of the stellar years that we've had of the 9 years we've been doing this.
I agree. I think your old classic word solid covers
this year.
Covers quite a lot of what we've listened to this year.
And that's not to take anything away from the top 10, top 5 albums.
No,
which
I agree with
very
that.
much well deserve to be there and would be there any other year. But I think below that, in fact, no, not even the top 20, but just generally across the year, I just feel that it hasn't been, sort of great quality of, say, a 2013 or a 2017 or whatever it was.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely spot on there. So, taking that in mind, let's get to the exciting awards that we always have. So, starting off with the biggie, obviously, which is the Golden Cobra Award for Worst Album of the Year. Our nominations are William Shatner, Santa Claus, Black Moth, Super Rainbow, Panic Blooms, and Sting and Shaggy 44876. But there's a surprise winner here, and I'll tell you why. The winner, when we reviewed the album, was described by one of us as boring and tedious. And there was by the other commented that there was a track on the album called Bland Fucking Times, who said it summed up the record perfectly. So, Pete, who is our proud winner of the Golden Cobra Award?
That was definitely you. The winner is Black Moth, Super Rainbow, Panic Blooms.
Yeah, sorry, peeps, but particularly if you're a fan. But
sorry,
that was one we didn't get at all.
Even Sting and Shaggy come out ahead of that.
Yeah, and
oh, well, that was a stinker.
It just It was one of those records that. I remember you started off the review thinking you don't like it, and then I think you kind of half expected me to like it because it did have that kind of My Bloody Valentine-esque hints going on in it, but no. Proof that you can do that really, really badly. Sorry. This is a review. This is a category we have quite regularly now, which is albums that were in the albums that we reviewed that failed to make any critics' end of year lists, or ones that I saw at least. So our nominees are Astral Drive, Dessa Chime, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Sometime Just the Sky, Black Moth, Super Rainbow, Panic Blooms. Yeah, there were good fucking reasons for that. And RP Boo, I'll tell you what I want. However, I think our winner here, is not only a deserved winner, but I am quite surprised that no critics shared the love that we had for this record.
That's quite a shocker. It's quite early on in the year as well, so it's in good time for everyone to have a good listen.
It is.
And the winner is Dessa Chime.
So, why did we like Dessa Chime, Pete?
Why did we like Dessa Chime? It was just unique, different, but it offered something quite early in the year that just had a sort of a soundscape to it, and it just offered something that was just you could get into as an album.
Yeah,
I found it very accessible and just offered something new.
Yeah, it was a really fun, lyrically inventive rap pop record.
Yeah,
from a very talented female artist.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you just described that, because
given how popular the rap still is as a musical genre, it is
exactly.
Just quite surprising that it doesn't seem to have gotten the critical kudos that I would have thought it deserved.
And it did, and it and in 2018, a really good female-led album. It just doesn't make sense, but there you go.
What do we know?
Well,
we'll find
not
out
very
later.
much, apparently.
Yeah. So, return of our most surprising album or genre switch of the year award. There could only be one nominee here and basically only one winner, because basically it had to be Sting Shaggy. Because, frankly, if someone had come into this room this time last year and said, you know what, one of the albums that's going to come out next year is going to be a full collaboration album between Sting and Shaggy, I would have been rolling around the floor, pissing myself laughing, and kind of going, no, seriously, you are taking the utter piss. Never going to happen. Lo and behold, the album that nobody wanted
or needed
came. But to be fair to Sting and Shaggy, when we reviewed the album, once we'd finished laughing at it, we did admit that some of it was perfectly okay. If not great.
They clearly get on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it probably sold fine. Sting and Shaggy, Anyway, moving on to share musical activity outside the podcast award, and a note to do more gigging in 2009 because we were a bit shoddy this year. Again, this is quite an easy one to choose the eventual thing of. I think we can safely say it was the whole steady at the Electric Ballroom.
Oh, easily. Yeah. 100%. No, but deservedly so as well.
Yes,
that is
so.
Not only one of the better gigs that they've provided, and we've been to a few of theirs over the years that they've provided, but one of the better gigs that they performed. I think that was one of the better gigs we've ever been to, in terms of the band, the music, the atmosphere, the support act as well.
Yeah.
And
sadly departed. Somebody else. Someone I missed off my, and I suddenly can't remember his name. It's the ex-lead singer of Frightened Rabbit.
Yeah.
Who was a lovely, sweet guy when he was.
He was just such a sweet guy and absolutely brilliant support act. But that is a nice setup to the band. It was just a story. I remember saying to you after that, I came out of that gig with a wide smile on my face.
Yeah.
And and even the next morning, my face muscles were aching. It was just such a sweet, brilliant, fucking awesome gig.
It was.
Yeah.
So good, in fact, we're going to do it again next year.
Yeah.
Same place.
Roughly
the same time.
Roughly the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to stay positive.
Got to say, hey! Yeah. Alright, nice.
Moving on to best song of the year, and this list could have been quite long actually, because there have been some really there have been some really great tunes this year. However, on our short list we've stuck with two great songs that were in the opening podcast of the year.
Yeah, and both of them, I know you asked me for a prompt and I sort of gave you one. The other one here that you've noted. In fact, there's two songs. Why don't I say what they are? So we've got Sigrid's Strangers and the President Lincoln New Year in Brooklyn. That song in particular, I wrote that down right at the start of the year. It's still on my list now of great songs of the year. It was just such a beautiful song by a band that relatively, I wouldn't say unknown, but they're a friend of a friend.
They're a friend of a friend,
indeed. And that was just such a brilliant standout song.
And we were happy to review their album there. Then
it was a good album.
I must say, and we were even happier when it turned out to be actually quite good.
It was really good.
So it was like,
yeah,
okay.
And I think it made my list as well. So
it did make your list.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to. However, as you can probably guess by Pete saying that, our winner was Secret Strangers, which we both agreed at the kick-off of the year.
Yeah.
And this was because she had won the BBC Sound of 2018 award, which we thought was deservedly so. And we both thought that this song was banging, as people say.
Banging!
And I recall saying at the time that I'd be very surprised if there were many better tunes out this year, and that proved to be true.
In the last podcast, I think last couple of podcasts ago, I think Robin's Honey came close.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah, Robin. Yeah,
I definitely had that as well. I've also actually added at least one of the secret track. Her album comes out March the 1st.
Finally,
next year. Yeah, so I went to see her the other month, and I can say that live she was also very good and played almost an hour and 20.
Blimey.
For someone that doesn't actually have an album out.
That is remarkable.
So
brilliant.
Big thumbs up, frankly, for me. And it's just still a great tune. It came on the other day, and I thought, I've heard this song a lot during this year, but actually,
it doesn't tire though.
It's
not like, it's that song again.
It's still a really good tune.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Let's get to the main.
The main event.
The main event.
Good grief.
Album of the year.
All happened quite quickly.
Yeah, album of the year. So our short list of nominees is, in alphabetical order, Church's Love Is Dead, Dessa Chime, Chanel Monáe Dirty Computer, Casey Musgraves Golden Hour, 9 Inch Nails Bad Witch EP, kind of cheating because it's an EP, but we'll let them off. And Sophie Oil of Every Pearl's Insides.
Yeah.
One of the hardest
album
titles to actually say this year. So, Pete, who was our winner? And in fact, who was our winner that we actually both agreed on this year?
As ever, our ability to agree with each other at the end of the year never ceases to amaze me. But with this particular artist, if you're a long-term listener, hello, this probably won't surprise you too much. It is Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves.
Yeah, well, actually, I think, unlike previous years, this is got his thing critically. The critics have been with us on this one this year,
which is a first.
Yeah. So, and not just the general critics in the end of year list, but she also won the Country Music Awards award for Album of the Year for Golden Hour a couple of months ago, and she also picked up a couple of other awards for it as well. And why speaking from why I liked it, bearing back, as you say, we've been fans of the previous 2 albums as well. And what this album did well for me was to take all that was good from those first 2 albums and then take an extra step forward and not be afraid to take an extra step forward. As you remember at the time when it was just about to be released, there were lots of people going, "Oh no, she's kind of sold out and she's become a pop star because there's a disco song on the album." And there is a disco song on the album, bloody good disco song on the album, one that Kylie would be pleased with. Kylie, who's now currently doing kind of country influenced songs, obviously. What goes around comes around. But actually, that was one of the things that's great about this record. It is an album where she's gone, okay, I'm going to stick within my country roots, and the kind of heart of this record is still going to be country, but I'm not going to be afraid to kind of take a song where the song needs to take me musically. And because of that, I found it a very, very, very engaging record very, very quickly. And one that, whilst I think the one thing we agreed with on a negative point of view was that there was slightly less quirkiness to it lyrically, and we missed a bit of that. I think what it lost there, it made up for in just the quality of the songs. And I listened to this album again the other day and got through the whole album and just thought, yeah, this is pretty bloody good. Well deserved winner, in my opinion.
I listened to it the other day again, and it's funny because you sort of, it was quite, for me it was quite an outrider for the best album pretty much the whole year.
Yeah.
And I kept reviewing albums around it. I had a top 5 that changed massively, particularly in the last couple of months. And for me it was always still there. And actually, as we were compiling this list, I obviously did the sensible thing and went back and listened to it again. And there was actually a moment where I was a bit worried. I thought, is this as good as I remember? Because it's actually been a while since I listened to it. And at that moment, I was like, and then I was at that moment, yeah, of course it is. Because actually, all the way through, production, lyrics, sound, music, personality, everything, it's just the complete package. And it is platinum all the way through. So I was kind of relieved that was the case.
It's good with that. I did something similar with the Desert album. I hadn't listened to it for a while and listened to it.
Yeah.
You know, I thought at the end of October I listened to it. I have not listened to it since probably kind of March, April. And similarly, I went, oh, it's still good. Good, thank God for that. Oh, I was thinking, please don't make it be rubbish now. And thankfully, it wasn't.
Good.
So anyway, the rundown of what our combined official CTDB music top 20 albums of the year are.
Right.
You have to pay attention to the numbers here because we've got joint things, and I've tried to do it properly. So Alison's happy with me.
Yeah. Really? It's that thing?
Yeah. I've had feedback and criticism from people.
Excuse me. Oh.
So, number 20, it was Courtney Barnett and Tell Me How You Really Feel.
At number 18, it was Lily Allen's No Shame and Robin's Honey.
17, Paul McCartney's Egypt Station.
16, The President Lincoln, Pilgrims and Aliens.
15, The Prodigy, No Tourists.
14, Christine and the Queens, Chris.
13, Confidence Man, Confident Music for Confident People.
12, Young Fathers, Cocoa Sugar.
10, Eons, The Deconstruction and Ashley Monroe's Sparrow.
8, Lump, and Natalie Prass, The Future and the Past.
7, Orbital Monsters Exist.
5, Sophie, Oil of Every Pearl's on Insides, and 9 Inch Nails, The Bad Witch EP.
4, Dessa Chime.
3, Churches, Love is Dead.
2, Janelle Monáe, Dirty Computer, and as we've already announced,
it's Casey Musgraves and Golden Hour.
So for those particular people that have listened to this podcast before, you now get the really dull bit where me and Pete say what our individual top 20s were.
Yay!
But hey, you need to know.
Okay, shall I quickly run through mine?
Yeah.
Alright, this is the dull bit. So at 20, I had Resistance is Futile, Manic Street Preachers, holding everything up there. 19, Confidence Music for Confident People, Confidence Man. I might have marked that a little bit higher earlier on in the year. I think it just gradually got pushed down. There's a really cool party on that album as well, which is a great track. 18 is Dove Belly. 17 Sparrow, Ashley Monroe. 16 Cleve, Therapy. Remember that was
quite recently.
Yeah, quite recently. 15 Chris by Kristen McQueen's. 14 Laura Marling's Lump. And the other bloke, obviously, that's why it's Lump, you know. Laura Marling, that sounds awful, actually. Wait, hang on. Whoa. Excuse me. Moving on, the appropriately titled No Shame, Lily Allen. 12, Egypt Station, Paul McCartney. I actually marked that quite low at one point, that got bumped up. 11, Pilgrims and Aliens, The Excellent President Lincoln. 10, Monsters Exist, Orbital. 9, No Tourist, The Prodigy. Depending on my mood, those two are a little bit interchangeable. 8, Oil of Every Pearls on Inside, Sophie. 7, Chime Dessa. 6, Deconstruction Eels, that was excellent. 5, Bad Witch, Nine Inch Nails. Now, I thought I might have marked that down in my gradual review of the year, but actually it held steady.
Yeah.
4, Data Computer Nominee. 3, Love is Dead Churches. 2, late entry for me.
Very late entry.
Review. Yeah, I'm All Ears by Let's See Grandma. I just like the whole pop duo thing. Yeah, you know. And obviously Golden at the top there, okay, so I suppose.
For me, 20 was Siskiyou and Reality, so you're going to the last podcast. 19, I've even gone for Behemoth. Living in the Darkest, so that's this podcast. EOS Deconstruction at 18, Joe Satriani, some instrumental guitar noodling at 17, with What Happened Next, Christine and the Queens, Chris at 16, Courtney Barnett's Tell Me How You Really Feel at 15, Lucy Dacus, The Historian at 14, Robin's Honey at 13, Nin at 12, Bad Witch, Confidence Man, Confident Music for Confident People at 11, because there was no album that came out this year that made me smile more than that record.
Yeah,
even their Christmas song is equally smiling.
Really?
Orbital Monsters Exist at 10. Sophie, All of Every Pills Inside, outside, whatever it's called. Put your left leg in, your right leg out, in out shape a little bit. That album's gone up and down in between kind of 9 and 5 in my list quite well.
Yeah.
Lump at 8. Ashley Monroe's Sparrow at 7. Church's Love Is Dead, which is the favourite album of me and my daughter in our house this year. Dessa's Charm at 5. Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer at 4. Young Father's Cocoa Sugar at 3, which is an album I liked a lot that came out at the same time as the Dessa album, reviewed at the same time then.
Yeah.
And also it stuck with me. Number 2, Natalie Press's Future in the Past, which you weren't so fussed with this year. It was my number 1 album for most of the year, and then got pipped at the end by Casey.
Yeah, there you go. That happens.
It is. For how we did against other people, kind of
remarkably well.
Yeah, reviewing our albums, we look at.
Can't even Nin gets in there.
Well, this is not the first list was the one on the front, exactly the full list.
Yeah.
But of the albums we reviewed, the order that I've lost a bit of paper on it. So churned every page, Scott.
Yeah.
So based on the end of the year's lists and just applying those to the albums we reviewed, Janelle Monáe was first, with Casey Musgraves second, then Robin, then Christine and the Queens, then Courtney Barnett and Sophie, then Kamasi Washington, who came at quite high on quite a lot of lists. I still don't believe anyone listened to 3 hours.
I just didn't have the time.
Yeah. Some of it's really, really good, but seriously, no. Younger Fathers were at 8. Lucy Dacus at 9. Kurt Weill, Bottle It In, 10.
Just outside my top 20.
Similarly. Let's See Grandma 11. All is. Camilla Cabello, at 12.
Yeah, again, that was in there at some point.
Lump 13, The Breeders All Nerve at 14, and in Bad Witch 15. It was, but if you think back to what we didn't listen to, which apparently you should have done, which is the things that we didn't listen to, and the overall lists of things that ratings of things, 81 lists. Mitski, who we reviewed her last album, her current album Be the Cowboy was number 2 behind Janelle Monáe at number 1.
Yeah.
Low number 4, Double Negative.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that band particularly. Cardi B, I'm aware of her because she had a beef with...
She has a beef.
With, yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I told Mrs. C this the other day.
Yeah. Invasion of privacy. Privacy. Let's call the whole thing off. 7 is Pusha T, rap artist, I believe, Daytona. Idols, number 8. The Joy as an Act of Resistance. They are a rock band that I know a couple of people have been raving about.
Uh-huh.
And 10 was actually Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Sweetener. So proving that Pop's
in.
holding in there. And it was quite a ladies-led list this
I
year.
had Robin in my top 15 at one point, but I don't know what happened to her in the final cut. But yeah, no, that's deservedly up there.
So maybe some albums to look at in the new year if there's nothing coming in.
If there's nothing else to do. I'm sure there will be.
Anyway.
Say it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you in 2019.
We're off to celebrate midnight now, because we do this like Jules Holland, obviously live on the night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hootenanny!
Right.
Yeah.
Off we go.
To beer.